Hey, Spencer, hey everybody. Hey,
Hey,
Antoine,
John.
Hi John, hi everyone.
Hello.
hi. Who are we waiting for? Spencer, Mohammed, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Spencer, I think Sally is not going to join because of his graduation or something. Um, Not sure if anyone else sent any messages. I know Ollie also sent a message. They're at school together. I can't hear you. You're muted.
The
You're
one
not
that I
muted,
would
but
really,
there you go.
one that I would really want here is Mohammed, since he is pretty involved with a few of the groups. So I sent a message out to see if he's gonna join.
Okay.
Let's see.
Hello, everyone.
Let's Sabri.
Okay, well, Spencer, I think we probably ought to get started. Maybe you want to just
Yep.
share the screen and we can kind of go through uh, last week's summary.
Yeah. So from last week, Humanoid, we've been working on a couple of things. Fiber pump, the fiber pump messaging, the presentation for Ma's meeting, the new masterclass that I've been working on, uh, and and a possible animation that we wanted to do. Um, and I'm still working on that as well. For the blocker, we had needing the street address so then we could purchase Starlink and the cameras. Um, we have done that, so Starlink has been purchased. For IoT, your hardware is complete. You were doing some software updates. Sharon was doing the website, and then Harun was taking a pause. For front end, you guys finished checking the back end connection. You found some missing information that was passed to the back end team. And then you were working on implementing some techniques for search engine optimization and error tracking and user navigation monitoring. For backend, you fixed the bugs with the Docker. You're fixing bugs reported from front end, and you were changing the mock data. Multimodal, creating a guide to deploy the duplex model, setting up the Jarvis GPU, and deploying your system. For QA, it really wasn't a QA update, but Indra talked about applying some testing to the FloBrain for internal QA. For FloLabs Travel, where you guys had starting a new chat bug is not from the back end, it will be front end. And then new bug is being tackled from the back end user for a user login bug. Automation, you guys are working on multiple workflows, whether that be Zoom to YouTube, job description creation, and automating the before and after onboarding process. Data, you guys had some little bit of progress, still doing some query work. People learning tools and complete system for information you can get, and then you were also working on some Soho stuff. For design, you have Space Venture CAIPO launched. You did find some bugs, doing some design manuals or some design templates slash manuals for websites that you kind of want people to follow, and then you're doing some international sites are also being developed for Hephaestus International and the other one as well. And then organization, I just welcome the new team members, make sure they knew kind of how to tackle their master classes and stuff like that. And that is it. So then we can get right in. I don't see any new team members today, so we can move right on. To Humanoid. For Humanoid, we just have some small updates because a good bit of the team was focused on the David Ma meeting we had Friday. Simulations are going well. Indra is working extremely hard on that, and I'm very happy that I don't have to learn how to do it. Uh, the master classes, I'm having a little trouble because I am a college graduate, so a lot of my knowledge is applied because I went to college. So I'm trying to figure out what in my knowledge sphere I need to kind of give you guys um, to kind of make you the way I need you, basically. So I'm working on that, kind of making a small list for myself and creating that. We also emphasize moving forward with RoboCollective.AI digital designs, the one Sharon made, and then trying to get and implement remote access, which I will say I did find something out. Uh, Antoine, if you want to try it, if you're there near the lab, near the robot dog, we could try it after this meeting because I'm actually quite interested in it.
Mhm.
Again, the we had the Dean Mom meeting. I kind of have some opinions about it, but we'll talk about that in organization because I have an idea of how to kind of make it quicker. And then the final thing is webcams for the lab. We talked about that, John. You wanted webcams that could be both wired or battery operated. So far, all I've really found is webcams that come in either a battery version or a wired version. I'm trying to find one that is both at the same time, so then we can kind of decide from there. But that is all
Right.
for Humanoid. Like I said, a lot of our team members were kind of focused on the meeting with David Ma. So little got done, but the biggest update was from Indra, and she's done really good on the simulations. So I'm happy to see that those are moving forward.
Yeah, maybe Antoine, you want to give a little update on the lab and kind of what you did as far as testing with Starlink.
So we tested Starlink at the lab. It was Thursday. So I tried different position for the antenna, and we found a position like on the roof
Yes.
that seems to work pretty well. There's still like a little obstruction for 1 or 2 seconds every now and then, so it might the connection might cut off a little bit. But during the meetings, we didn't have big issues. So yeah, and we tested it with my Starlink, which is the Starlink Mini, and not with the bigger one. But
Yeah.
for now it works.
And let me quickly explain that delay that you guys saw for like the 2, 3 seconds. That is considered the orbital window between satellite transfer. So if you ever seen the Starlink satellites in the sky, they move in an orbital pattern with space between. That space, their system has trouble passing the signal between each satellite when your signal is like just between those two satellites at the same time. So Starlink has a little trouble deciding which satellite receives your signal and bounces it. So it kind of goes into a little bit of a fit for a couple seconds until it goes, oh yeah, we'll use this satellite. So that's what happens. It's just their software is a little buggy, has a little bit of a bug.
Yeah, or can you send Antoine maybe the upload and the download speeds
Yeah,
uh, to in the group so Spencer can kind of look at that because we want to see
yeah,
as we what it says in the packaging for the mini and what we're getting and I guess what we can expect hopefully from the what the
big one.
difference is going to be with a bigger one. We're getting a package, so right, we get the big one and the mini as part of this and a mesh. Uh, actually, yeah, the other thing Antoine was suggesting that we might need to get more mesh networks to have
Oh
like
yeah.
inside the rooms.
Yes, to have the best quality we can with the signal, depending on how the robots is. Because if we have a router at the other end of the room, maybe there might be some kind of lags. So if we create a mesh with multiple routers and we dispatch them at different points, it might allow us to get the best quality.
Okay. Um, I will agree. Meshes seem it depends on the size of the lab, how many you would need. So I would look at you would have to look at the size of the how much area the router covers. Then you would look at how much area the mesh covers. So then essentially you go, okay, the router covers this entire area. Okay, I need a mesh for this area, and this area because the router doesn't cover it. And that's how you would do it. So I would look at your square footage of the lab, your square footage of the original router, and then the square footage of a mesh, and then kind of figure out from there how many meshes you need
I think only two will be enough
to.
because
I think
it's not really big, but the signal quality drops quite quickly. So I think
I
only two might be enough.
I think I think it comes with a router, so you might just need to buy only one more
Yeah,
or
that's it.
a mesh. It comes with a mesh already, so you
Yep.
might need to just buy another mesh system. So at least you don't have to buy two, you just have to buy one.
Yeah, the
Um,
other thing, Spencer, I was thinking about with that mesh, with like if we have one, our plan to have say Starlink enabled robots, so we can control them, with a Starlink device on the robot, similar to those drones that are for defense purposes. They go out to the ocean and they just, they're flying and they've got constant uh, satellite communication, Wi-Fi.
yes.
So I don't know, kind of for testing purposes, I was thinking about maybe if we have one of those mesh devices on the RoboDog, if that would suffice for like testing it as kind of Wi-Fi enabled. I'm not sure. So maybe you need to do some research on that. I don't know. I know that drone company that I saw had a deal with, they were partners, some type of partnership with SpaceX or Starlink.
Yeah, I
And
can do that.
so,
Okay. Yeah. Out of here real quick. Okay. But yeah, that's it for humanoid, or yeah, for humanoid team. Then IoT CAIPO team.
I'm sorry, just before we move on, Spencer, what are kind of the next steps for the humanoid team? What are the main things that we're working on that we want to accomplish in the next 30, 60 days?
The next big thing I really want to do is get remote access figured out, is the big thing. Get so then I can remote access either your phone or Antoine's so that we can control the RoboDog from my computer or Indra's computer, or whoever wants to access it. Get your guys's um lab set up, both Starlink and the webcams. Then we can start actually doing design work if we want to do a um design on the RoboDog that's currently there. So if we want to put a decal on it or we want to actually vinyl wrap it or do something really cool with it, we can do that and use that as marketing purpose. Um, Also, I want to try to get the masterclass finished and completed. Um, and so that's my big goals is to get really moving forward with remote access and get moving on design and get RoboCollective up and moving.
Okay, and what about the the desktop robot and the humanoid? What are the plans for those two?
Uh, those two, continuous simulation as Indra's doing. She's working on the simulation part. Get a tentative, get an early design for a desktop robot, made using kind of like CAIPO-like hardware, but we want to make it just a bit stronger. So a better microphone, better speaker, stuff like that, because we have a bigger case now. Make just a basic version because there's still stuff we need to figure out for treads and how it's going to move. So honestly, starting with a stationary version would be good. So I want to start there, making just a small something that could sit on your desk and hold your phone, charge your phone, access the FloBrain app, so then you have an assistant right on your desk. For that. For humanoid, of course, we're definitely still in the research phase. The problem is if we want to actually start moving on humanoid, our own humanoid, it's gonna cost quite a lot because I have a design tentatively ready to go to build an arm. But the motors are expensive. I've priced the motors at almost $3,000 a pop, and I have 5 of them in the arm.
Well,
So
do you have a product roadmap for the humanoid? Because if we look at kind
yes,
of what it would take, I mean, there's going to be a bunch of steps to do that, and I think there's going to be a bunch of steps before needing to spend $3,000 on
yes.
motors.
My first step is digital designed it. Make it actually make a digital twin of it first, which would be making the hands, making the arm, making the torso, making the legs. Um, And in between those, you could build chassis robots where you have one that's just the arm and the torso and maybe a couple camera arrays. You can make one with a head, make one with a screen as a head for um, interactivity and stuff like that. So there's places where we can jump off and make another version of the product. But right now, it's still definitely research and digital development.
Okay, I guess, do you think we could, like, by next week, maybe put a product roadmap together so we could kind of
Yeah,
discuss it
for
and see?
for specifically the humanoid.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could do that.
yeah, that would be great. And I think also if we don't have one for the desktop version, it would be good to have one for that as well. There might, there's going to be some overlap hopefully on that, we need to do for both, probably like the FloBrain, but
Yeah.
and maybe some simulation, of course, also. But I think, yeah, that would be a good thing. So we can kind of start taking steps as we start to grow the humanoid team, um, and make advances with the FloBrain.
Okay. Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to CAIPO IoT. Let's see. Ash, if you want to give us an update, what's going on over there?
Yeah. Me and Sabri worked on a task on we researched how to connect GAIPO and the wearables. Since we don't really know what the hardware of the wearables are gonna be, um, I kind of like had to look at all the different ways they could do it. I can screen share it if you guys want.
Yes, please.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. So this is like an overview of so if both of them have an ESP32, like the wearable and the CAIPO, we could use ESP32 now or ESP-NOW.
Mhm.
But that's if like both of them have an ESP32. But these are all the other ways you could use them. You could connect them. This was my preferred one because it doesn't use that much power, and the range is 10 to 30 meters, which isn't a lot. But again, it's also a wearable, so like you wouldn't really need it like farther than this. Um, I can work on the code for like reconnecting if if it gets out of this and then comes back, it'll like reconnect and like with each other. But this is like a little breakdown of all the different ones and like very like short and sweet little sentence.
Okay. May I ask why you would prefer BLE Gate versus ESP now? What draws you
Uh,
to?
well, I was saying ESP. If we did ESP-NOW, it would need like the wristband would also need an ESP32, and I don't know what we're using, but with BLE we have like the freedom to use whatever chip we want.
Okay. So you see BLE as a more, how to put it, a more hardware diverse form of code. So now you're not
Mm-hmm.
stuck with just ESP 32. Now you can
Yeah,
go, oh, this chip is better, but I can still use BLE. with
Mhm.
that chip.
But if you were to
Okay.
use an ESP32, it would still be very low power use, and it wouldn't be as complex.
Okay.
Ash, why, I mean, this is CAIPO connecting to a wearable.
Mhm.
Why aren't we connecting to the mobile app and via the mobile app connecting to CAIPO?
Why are we connecting? Like, sorry, could you rephrase that for me?
This, what you're explaining right now is
Mhm.
connecting CAIPO to the wearable directly. So they're communicating between each other.
Mhm.
Our plan from my meetings that I've been in and my understanding is that, you know, the wearables are going to connect to our mobile app. Everything's going to connect to our mobile app, and the
Okay.
mobile app's going to connect to CAIPO.
Okay. I was not aware of that. I can redo all this, and I'll just make it all connect to a mobile app and
Well,
see
well,
what.
well, I mean, you guys came up with a plan to do this instead of doing the other, not being aware of what discussions we had in the past. So, and I could be mistaken. Maybe someone changed something in the process, but you know, I mean, you did this for a reason. Did you think that this was a better idea to connect directly to the wearables and not go via the mobile app?
Uh, kind of, because if I don't really know that much about the app, but I do have um like experience in um embedded systems. So there was no like a description of this task. So I just assumed we're connecting the CAIPO to the wearable like without a mobile app.
Well, I mean, it might be a great idea. You know, I don't want to like nix your idea here.
Mm-hmm.
If you thought of it like the first thing that came to your mind that was obvious, you know, so maybe there's you got something here that makes sense.
Well, I assumed there would be a mobile app that like it's kind of like the middleman between both of these. But I would just like, but thinking of it, I do think that the hardware of like the wristband should connect to the CAIPO directly too, if that makes sense.
And I mean, what are the like the pros and cons of connecting to the mobile app compared to connecting to directly to, you know, to the other wearable?
I'm not very sure. I started researching this yesterday, but I could definitely do some more research on it.
Okay. Sabri, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, actually, I think that if CAIPO is responsible of collecting data from the wearable, we should not put a getaway between them, which is the mobile app, because it will cause latency, and it does nothing between a CAIPO and the wearable. This bridge can be disconnected. We just can connect directly a CAIPO to the wearable, so we can collect data in real time and analyze it. Then we can use the mobile app to display information and whatever we have. That's why we thought that we should connect CAIPO to the wearable directly.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
If the wearable are connected to the mobile phone, we do not need CAIPO anymore. You got me.
what do you mean we don't need CAIPO anymore?
The data are here in the mobile app. If we are, let's say that we are using, I don't know, smart gloves. If you want to know what's going on there, if the data already reach the mobile phone, we should not deliver to CAIPO because we can do the processing there. That's why we should take the data directly from the wearable make the processing and then send result to the mobile app. If that does, if that makes sense. I'm not sure what the app do because I just have 1 week here, but I think this is the logic architecture of the project.
Well, I mean, the data, if it's our own wearable, the data we want it to go into FloBrain. There'll be an app for the wearable, similar like Whoop has an app, and all wearables have an app where you can look at your phone and you can see your data and your history. If you've used Strava, for example, or any type of so all that data needs to be, in FloBrain, and then the idea for CAIPO is to use CAIPO for people that have CAIPO. Not everybody will have CAIPO, to communicate with through CAIPO. Hey Sabri, you did 11,000 steps. Why don't you do another 500 steps? Yesterday you did 12,000 steps.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So I think the right way is to connect the wearable to the mobile app. So the task itself should not be even mentioned because we don't need CAIPO to be related to the wearable. If Ash understand what I mean. Here we can I don't know who did the task. We can ask him what went in his mind to launch this task, because here, like you say, we just need the wearable to be connected to the mobile app. FloBrain make the processing and just send what will be sent to CAIPO. We don't know. We don't need to be CAIPO to be connected to the wearable.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think that sounds right. Again, you guys should research and see if there are any benefits to doing it one way compared to the other way, and maybe there are benefits to doing it both ways. But it sounds like if we did it connecting from one wearable to the other wearable, we need a components on the wearable, on the wristband, extra components that we wouldn't otherwise need if it was just communicating to the mobile phone, to the mobile app. I don't know, but you guys need to look at that. Do we need extra components, to connect it? But there might be some advantages to doing both. I'm not sure, but ChatGPT could certainly give us some helpful suggestions.
Since the task was called "How to Connect CAIPO to the Wearables," I was wondering. I thought that's what it meant, literally, but no. The better way to do it would be to connect CAIPO to the mobile app, separately. CAIPO and the wearables are separate, and they're both just connected to the mobile app.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, there might be something there that you guys just, intuitively went one path. You didn't think about the other path. So, I mean, there might be some logical, a benefit. So please, research that. But also keep in mind that we want to connect with Flow Health, which is going to be the health buddy, and the health buddy in FloBrain will aggregate data from other apps like Strava, other health-related apps, and pull the data into Flow Health, and other wearables that we can get access to, like Whoop, Garmin, Polar, etc., and take their data via either API or SDK or CLI, or looking at just even scraping from their app directly and putting it in our app, That could be another possibility. We've looked at different ways that we can get data if the supplier or if the app doesn't allow, let's say, access. Like a user, you can look at the screen and you can pull that data and put it in the FloBrain. So we want to be the aggregator of all of if you're using Whoop and using Strava and using other devices, we want to aggregate all that into the FloBrain, right? And then we have health records and we've got a bunch of other stuff, and we're using AI to look at repetition and historic information, and to see how all that, the fusion of all that data can be helpful to help nudge people, and help motivate people. So yeah, and to motivate people to take action, right? We all need motivation. And
Yeah,
so if we
wherever the way we're going to connect the wearable to the application, eh, we don't need CAIPO to be connected to other wearable. We just need CAIPO be connected to the mobile app, and we will make some deep research about what's the benefit of connected CAIPO to the other wearable. So maybe we can get even a better precision, like real time, because when wearables send data to the mobile app, it can cause some latency. If CAIPO have real time measurement, we can even make a comparison between what the mobile app does and what's going on really, and that's time. We will make more deep research, me and Dash.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And I've been kind of thinking about the app. I was going to talk about it in the Mood Changer meeting, but yeah, I don't know where we are with the app. But I downloaded a new version of Strava yesterday, and because I had been reading about that now they're connecting apps, sensors. So and it was interesting, and I think that yeah, we need to move forward on the app, um, and really I think Strava right now is the one that we need to get insights from. In fact, I won't even say insights. I'll say look at it page by page by page, and and basically create something very similar. And we don't need to. They're generating almost $500 million in annual recurring revenue. We're not going to come up with something better than they've come up with and tested it. And so they also have like 4 different maps that you can use. I was trying to use one of them, and I'm not sure why they do that. I think that might be because Google Maps is expensive. We were using Google Maps for FloLabs Travel, and we had kind of excessive bills, I would say. They were more excessive. They cost us more to integrate maps than it was for ChatGPT token usage. So we were looking at other alternative of maps. They've got 4 of them that are on their Street View, or I can't remember. One of them was one that I had downloaded in China. And it was open source. Open source maps is one of them, or something like that. But yeah. So and also when you're connecting to them, they wouldn't allow you to connect via Facebook anymore. They said they stopped it, but you could still connect via Google. So it's another thing that I'd like to research. Why don't they allow Google? I'm sure it has something to do with data, but I'm sorry, why they don't allow to connect with Facebook, and they still do allow with Google, with Gmail. But Yeah, as I looked through it, and I kind of tested Strava. I hadn't used it for probably a year and a half or something. Uh, it does consume a little bit of like battery, but yeah, it has like a pop-up that comes up, sensors. You can connect to different sensors, and in the process, and so it's really very exactly what we're want to do as far as our model. So Indra, I don't know, do you know where we are with the status of the mobile app?
For CAIPO, we haven't developed yet.
For FloBrain?
For FloBrain, the website will be installable, so it also will be a mobile app.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we also need a mobile app for FloBrain. I mean, I don't use when I use ChatGPT, which is daily on my phone when I'm walking and I'm out and I've got a thought and I send a message or talk to it. I use a mobile app, and I use, I mean, at least 50% of my usage on ChatGPT is, using my mobile app. And I don't think it's going to be the same user experience pulling up a website on your mobile as a mobile app. But the FloBrain mobile app and the
Well,
CAIPO, I'm sorry, the mood changer or CAIPO FloBrain, it should all be one. I think we talked about that before, right?
yeah, I was under the impression that the FloBrain mobile app would have the same features as the website. And then because of that, we are creating a website that can be installable, so it will behave exactly as a mobile application, but without the need of developing it all over again.
You mean developing it all over again in a mobile version, mobile app version?
Yeah, with native technology. Yeah, mobile native technology.
You're saying that there would be an icon on your mobile phone that would look like a mobile app, and you'd click on it and it would just go to the web and not be a mobile app?
Not exactly. The behavior is exactly as a mobile application. You can see actually a difference, but in the end is the website. But because we are creating a responsive website, it responds really well to mobile.
Okay, okay. This is the first time. I mean, I didn't. I mean, I knew we were having a responsive website, but I didn't know that there was thinking around not having a mobile app and just having the responsive website. Well, I mean, again, maybe you're onto something here. That I haven't thought of, and maybe it makes sense. But I guess what I'd like to find out is, why does ChatGPT have a mobile app and a website that you can use in Claude and all of the others? Why don't they just have a responsive website if there's if that's just the same?
I think that's just different ways to do the same solution. A lot of companies use, because we've talked about this actually a while back. It's called PWA. A lot of companies use this, especially for applications that can be more light usage. For example, light versions of some applications, Uber Lite, Facebook Lite, things like that, use PWA because it requires less processing power.
Okay. Okay. Well, I guess, yeah, I mean, you're kind of convincing me, but I would need to see research that says, using it with WPA and you not having a mobile app or having a mobile app and why others are doing it. What are the pros and cons of doing it these different ways? So, you know, it's not just, I think this is a better idea. And, we go down a path of the way, that we think something is a better idea rather than doing a deep dive into the research and understanding, because it's not obvious to me. I mean, and maybe I'm just old school because I've, you know, grown up the last 10 years with mobile apps. And I mean, a lot of, even early on, it was like the differentiator was mobile apps. If you had a mobile app, and so, yeah, could you do the research on that, and then we can.
Yeah.
John,
When we started talking about this a while back, I sent you a article about it. I'll try to get it again.
I think there is
Okay.
a bit misunderstanding between Indra and John, because Indra is not saying that we are not having a web app, a mobile app. I think, like Discord, they're designing a mobile app that can be that do exactly like the website, like Discord. I think that's what Indra is trying to say, right?
Yeah, Discord is actually a great example of PWA. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not we do have a website and a mobile app, but I think John is thinking we not have for a mobile app.
Yeah, that's right, Sabri. And I guess what you're saying is that the the Discord app on my phone is WPA.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The most advantage of a PWA is we don't need to develop two different things. So we don't need to develop a website and then in parallel a mobile application with native technologies. We can use, for example, React and create a website and at the same time a mobile app. So it's one development for two things. And then the website you can access through your computer in the browser, and then the mobile app will be the website but installed in your mobile phone.
Is the WPA, is that also what I've downloaded on Discord as an app that I'm using? Because I don't, I use the app. I don't use the Discord app on my laptop. I don't use I thought that was called something else.
Yeah, as far as I know, Discord is a PWA. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So, okay. So you'll help me understand the the pros and cons of WPA compared to a mobile app. I mean, you've explained some of the pros, which is you wouldn't have to redevelop, but I don't know what the cons are.
I think the only con I can think of for PWA is for more complex native features that we need. But I think in FloBrain we don't need any complex native features of the mobile. For example, if we want to use, I don't know, an extreme example like gyroscope um, the of the phone, maybe with PWA we couldn't get it. But I think for having voice and video, I think that's something that we can do it with PWA. But I will send you again the article.
Okay. Yeah, and if you can put together a list of like pros and cons, yeah, because now you're mentioning one of the cons. It's like, okay, well, for the app, we were actually looking at with Space Buddy to use the sensors within the phone. So when you're pointing at the sky, kind of our Sky View app, and it would know which direction you're pointing, and also perhaps if someone doesn't have, let's say, a Strava or a Fitbit or whatever, or an Apple, app or whatever, that we would have our own app that they could use. Basically, it would use the sensors within the mobile phone. So that was kind of one of the things that we were planning to do.
But that would be for like a different application, right? Or it would be all in FloBrain? Because the version that we have for FloBrain, like the version we will be developing, I don't see where it would fit these. This would be an external tool that we have to redirect from the FloBrain.
I'm not sure what you mean an external tool, but yeah, I mean, no, we'd want to have it. We don't want to have someone download multiple things. Once we download one, we want to have it work for all of our buddies. All of our, and we talked about this before, apps within our app. So yeah, I don't know, maybe you also want to kind of research WeChat and how WeChat was developed. There might be some insights that we get from that. I did research on that when I was in China last year. I mean, that's basically, if they open up FloBrain, then we want to have, our different apps within there, also our different buddies and stuff. And so I don't know if that's might be something that we find how they developed it. Because I think how WeChat developed it, and Wusheng, maybe better, but they have kind of a framework, and then when you develop into WeChat, you don't have to do a certain amount of development because they're using their framework. If you want to be in, an app within WeChat. Wusheng, are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the function WeChat, but I don't know. Actually, I don't know how to decide it. They have some information on the internet about how to decide it, but I don't know how to do it. I know. Oh no, I know what you are discussing now.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe Wusheng, maybe you want to also research that kind of how the technology of WeChat to see maybe if that's applicable to what we're doing.
Yeah. I think I can do it. I can do some research about describe the how is this function and maybe how to do it. If it is not a very difficult part, we can try to reference to do the similar function like WeChat.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't want to get like distracted and get kind of off of a path right now that is like an easier deployment, because it sounds like if we just developing it once and we have it on mobile and um, and desktop, that you know we need to execute on one thing and not kind of do multiple things right now, but we could certainly understand whether part of our roadmap is, kind of moving to different technology once we have the resources and understanding the way we want to go in the future. Okay, thank you, Indra. Indra, anything else on that?
Not really. I think that's a conversation we have to have in the future.
Okay. Well, we want to do the research now so we kind of understand it and then kind of not be blindsided as we move forward and just know what we're doing. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. Spencer, back to you.
Perfect timing. I just got back. Next would be front end. Sure, if you want to go this.
Let's go. We fixed a minor interface bug that we had in the homepage. We are applying the search engine optimization technique so the website can be more shown in the research engines. And we are almost finished with the Sentry implementation. We just have to set up a DNS key, and then we are finished with that.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to the backend now.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
For the backend, we deployed the Swagger. A Swagger basically you can see as a website where it has all the APIs that the backend has developed. So the front end can easily understand how the APIs have to be used. So the headers, the response, the payloads, things like that. So we deploy that so the front end can easily find themselves. And we now are still working on returning real information through the APIs and getting rid of the mock data.
Mock data. Okay, yeah, I know you guys were having a problem with mock data where the APIs weren't returning text and anything like that. They were returning API data, they were returning mock. So
yeah,
a human could read it. Okay. Multimodal.
For multimodal, we are now trying to purchase the Jarvis GPU to set it up. So the team is talking with Mohammed to purchase it. And we are also almost finishing deploying the microservice. So multimodal perception system is a microservice that the backend will access. So we're almost finishing deploying it in AWS. And we've finished creating a guide to deploy the duplex model. Now we are creating a test cases to test the duplex model once we've deployed it.
Okay. Because that's what I was going to ask you next, because we're moving on the QA. How you last week or Wednesday you talked about doing internal QA since QA team is kind of off right now. How do you feel like that's going right now, running your own internal QA?
Well, from the development standpoint, we are already putting some quality assurance techniques. So we have GitHub Actions does it's not testing, but trying to figure out if there are any non-used variables, things like that, to maintain quality code. And then now we only have to really test out what we've developed. So that's what I'm going to discuss with the front-end team next week.
Okay. So Do you feel like it's going okay, or do you feeling like maybe it's getting a little stuffy with you doing your own QA?
I think it could be better, but I think it's enough for now.
Okay. Obviously, as you get into full deployment, that's when things kind of get a little crazy because now you're dealing with user problems, and I
Yeah.
know that's when QA really does get pushed to the limits. So I know probably for right now your QA is probably lighter because you're doing QA on the development side, but when you start doing QA on the deployment side, that's when doing internal QA could be the problem.
Yeah.
I wanted to put that out there because I know sooner or later FloBrain's gonna actually go up and actually be used by people. So I always want to kind of maybe preach getting a true QA team ready.
Yeah.
Maybe not for now, but sooner or later, having the teams do their own internal QA is not going to be worth it. It's going to clog them completely.
Yeah, and it's also good to have fresh eyes on it because sometimes we are kind of seeing the same things and we see a bug and we're like, yeah, I know that bug's there. I will try to resolve it later, and then stays there forever. So if you have fresh eyes to find new things and revive old stuff, that would be better.
Yeah. Okay. FloMat Travel, Indra, Bakir.
Yeah. For the front end, will now work on the bug of creating a new chat. And then the back end is working on the login bug. So
Okay.
we can log in or register, and the back end is to figure out why.
Can you describe? I'm kind of curious. What is the front end bug actually? Is because I know it's having to create a new chat, but I'm curious of what can
Uh,
you like describe it?
yeah, when you go to the FloMat Travel homepage, there is an input where you can start a new chat with the AI. And when you type anything there and click on the button to chat to create a new chat, it doesn't do anything.
Okay, it just doesn't even prompt up a new chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you think it's just not the button isn't linked to what it needs to do, or
So
do you think it's just not the button's linked, it's just not doing it?
I think when trying to send the request for the backend is doing something wrong.
Okay. Do you think it's a request thing? Okay, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah,
Automation.
I just want to, before we move to the next thing, and I don't think Omama is here yet. She did send a message in her chat that she was going to be late. So we might want to get back to her because I don't see her in the meeting right now. And neither is Mohammed's not here, so both of them would kind of be able to update us on automation. But about FloMad Travel. That is also our travel buddy within FloBrain. So we want to kind of look at it from that perspective. And Indra, as we move forward with what we're going to do with FloMad Travel, and it should also be Travel Buddy and have that same prompts, tech stack, whatever, behind the scenes, behind the hood is there. It should be within FloBrain as the Travel Buddy. And speaking about buddies, every team that we have in the organization should also have on their task list research and development of a buddy. and including probably Humanoid. I'm not sure what exactly that would look like, but certainly for the development team, it would be a dev buddy, similar to say Codex or you know uh, Claude Code, and basically where maybe you have links to your different tools, to your QA tool, whatever a developer is going to be using would be in the development buddy. Maybe it's links, and then maybe as we move forward, we want to be able to integrate that stuff via API or however we're going to do that, so you can kind of chat and if you're using you, one chat that just pings whichever one. I mean, the path that we want to go down, developing um, our own technology, AI to help people, to help coders. But yeah, so think of that as its own application again, as a standalone application. What do you want as your development buddy, your tools that you have, a harness for developers. And yeah, and of course, data. We've talked about a data buddy, which we have on our list, and you know, yeah, every team in the organization, we have a space buddy that we're working on right now, and Pranad will kind of give an update on that. So yeah, if we can just put that on the list, and maybe Spencer, you want to kind of task for each team lead. Every team should have a buddy, a plan for, again, research. Who are the players in that space? What are they doing? And what would we need to do to develop something like that over time?
Yeah, I can do that. I will say, yeah, I agree with you, John. Humanoid buddy, I only thing would be I'd be like, I need a 3D file for this, find it, and that would be it. Um, that would be the only thing, but I don't know how to put that as a buddy. But that would be the only thing I always feel like would be nice to have is just a program that goes out and finds 3D files for me. Would be so nice because that would save me a bunch of time.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, thanks Antoine for sending that to the Discord channel. I'll probably check it out when we're done with this meeting. Okay.
Indra, do you have any thoughts about the development buddy and what that would look like?
I think more of Claude code and things like that would be enough for the developer.
Well, whatever tools that we're using, our developers are using, we would want all of those in our development buddy.
Yeah, the only tools we use is like Claude and Cursor, so that would be it.
Well, like now, ChatGPT is better at coding than Claude, the new benchmarks.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to, and that's part of what we want to do. And I mentioned it with the meeting with Dean Ma. Like probably most of us here aren't really paying attention to like which um, which AI has better benchmarks this week compared to last week. And every week there's a new AI between the Chinese ones that are open source, Claude, ChatGPT. Grok is probably out of there. I mean, they're buying Cursor for $50 billion. So I guess that will be Grok's Cursor. But Yeah, so also in the development buddy, I would think GitHub would be in there. And any tools that a developer is using would be in that buddy as links. And then potentially, how do we're going to be using this ourselves, and we're going to, just like I was listening to a podcast of another one of the senior people at Claude that developed, Claude Code, and yeah, they were using their own tool, and that's how they developed it. But that's the hugest market right now is for coders, and those tools are just getting better and better. But there's a reason why Cursor is up there, because they're aggregating the best models. They're aggregating Claude by API and OpenAI's API, and they're on the back end. They're pinging multiple providers, yeah. So I think that's one of the things that we're going to be doing is, as we develop these vertical AIs over time, which models are we going to be pinging on the back end? And Claude is never going to integrate OpenAI, and OpenAI is never going to integrate Claude. And once Grok buys Cursor, Claude and OpenAI are probably going to be shut down and not available via Cursor, I assume, because Grok is a competitor. But maybe they will. Anthropic just purchased billions of dollars worth of hosting services from SpaceX, and they also signed an agreement to have their data centers in space once SpaceX starts that service. So yeah, but these models, again, this is an important aspect of what we're building with FloBrain. The buddies are going to be their own harnesses for that specific vertical. And over time, we're going to be integrating some of their APIs. So you'll be able to chat in that chat bot, and it will help you with coding, or if it's the design buddy, design or whatever. But you'll also be able to click on the links and go directly to the tools that you're signed up for and using. So, and they'll be customized on a case-by-case basis, of course. So if another company might be using 20 different tools for their developers, and we're only using 4, so we'll have our tools and they'll have their tools. But as we develop our own AIs, vertically integrated AIs, that will probably be in all of our buddies, I guess. I'm not, is how I'm thinking about them. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we're kind of all on the same page about what these buddies are gonna look like. And again, if it's the developer buddy, and like what are the 10, like what's Cursor using on the back end? Probably using Quen. They're using a lot of the Chinese ones. They're using 10 different ones, and they're going to the ones that are providing the results that they need, and or if all is the same, then they're going to go to something that they're probably an open source one that they're hosting. So they minimize the cost. But next week when another one comes out that's better, I, as a user, don't want to have to figure that out. I got it. Next week it's this one. Oh my, I'm going nuts. All these every week. It's a different one that's better than the other one. We want to do it seamlessly behind the scenes for our users. So it's automated. We know, new one comes up. What are the benchmarks? Oh, boom. It's the benchmarks are higher on this one. Boom. Let's replace it for these things. Let's test it and replace it. That's what the other companies are doing. If you look at all these vertically integrated, I mean, they're and that's the path that we need to be kind of following. And I know it's a lot of stuff looking at all these vertically integrated buddies, but our plan is to move on them slowly. And as we start to build the teams, we'll have more team members that join and they can get engaged in those activities. And it'll also provide people with valuable experience for if they're in the legal team, they get to work on the legal buddy, and that's valuable experience for legal interns, et cetera, et cetera. So, any thoughts, Indra?
Yeah, I think it's basically what you said. We will work on it step by step, and we'll get it done in the end.
Okay, great. Anybody else have any thoughts about that? Any comments? Anyone? Lucas, Oliver, if he's here, I'm not sure. Anybody that wants to chime in, please feel free. Okay, guess not.
Okay. We can move on. Since Umama still hasn't joined us, we can move on to data. Wusheng, if you want to give us, if you know anything, what's going on in data.
Yeah, wait a moment. Let me check the note. This week, we need add the app the website into the website list now, and also he's focusing on the master class. Wait a moment. Yeah, and we convert the data into the Power BI now and prepare the master class for me, especially focusing on the BigQuery part. And also, he find some trouble on the Moonchain point AI. And during the meeting, we also discussed whether we should stay or at the HubSpot or move to the Show. Yeah, this is all the thing.
Okay. Sorry if it looks like I'm leaning over. I think my keyboard is finally dying. It has been with me for 6 years. And it's finally dying out. So probably gonna have to replace my keyboard. But okay. Makes sense. You guys are still working, and it makes sense to be focusing on the master class right now because we're moving pretty fast with data. So I kind of expected that. Okay. Next, design. Sharon, if you want to give us an update, what's going on over there?
Sure. So we kind of also spent the last week trying to prepare the websites for the meeting with ESP-NOW. So during that, we managed to publish FloLabs International and slightly updated Tile by just the look of it, but because we didn't actually receive any content update for it. Bootcamp University is also done. We kind of changed the footer of it. And now we are still working on Mood Changer, Athletic Performance Intelligence, Space Ventures Institute, CAIPO and Hephaestus International websites.
Okay. And as I stated before, I think in a previous meeting, if you and Muhammad and the other design team members want to get started, you can get started on RoboCollective.AI as well from the database with changes. So you could get started on that if you want to.
Okay, let me note down for myself too.
Yeah, Joanne or maybe Diogo, can you like do a demo on the new sites that we have so we can kind of update everyone where we are with those? Because I know we've gone through those in our other meetings, but we have some updated work that looks really amazing, and I think it's a good place to share it with everyone.
Okay, I can share
Can you share screen?
screen. Yeah. Let me close this so I can actually see my screen. So this is how Tarn looks right now. We try to get rid of AI looking things as much as possible, added videos and images as backgrounds.
Yeah, those images right in that need to be updated. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, all those ones in there because there's even one. Yeah, that one. No, the other one with the
The
dog.
last one, yes.
Yeah, yeah, that one.
It just
But
changes fast after that. I see what you
yeah,
mean, yes.
but but yeah, this is such a huge, huge difference in the design. Not this part, but as we scroll down in these other images, you can see how yeah, it's just so much improved. It looks amazing. It really does. And we're just at the beginning of, making changes. I mean, we're going to continue to update this, and yeah, I'm excited to.
I mean, yeah, that's what we were saying. I think can't remember if it was in design meeting or the automation meeting. Can you remember the front end meeting? But that's the difference when you actually like guide strictly what the um what the AI should follow as a kind of like, pretty much a direction for the design, like the structures of the design and the design decisions that it should follow strictly. Like we use the Google DeepMind AI as a reference to revamp the Toro website, and it looks completely different, and just getting rid of the AI default assets just like turns it into a completely different result. And using this in the rest of the website will definitely be like a huge improvement for all of them.
Next, we have Bootcamp University, unless someone had questions or something else to say.
I mean, for my part, I just changed the footer to the standard version that we were talking about.
Yeah, and I was looking at Bootcamp University and then looking at some of the newer ones that we've done and yeah, I think we need to kind of take another like that part you'll be part of the yeah, right there. That looks great. That looks great. And there's the information is really good and how you came up with the some of the messaging. I was trying to read through here and it sounded really good. I'm not sure how you came up with some of the stuff. I don't recall it from the past, but yeah, some of it sounds really good. And but it still doesn't look like
Not
Tarl.
AI?
Yeah, I think a big reason of that is just what I think Claudia said design team meeting. That is the kind of the gradient glass. I forgot the name of the effect or the background, but I think this really reminds a lot of like AI generated websites, the glassmorphism. And I think if we stick with the solid colors design decision for all the websites, I think it's gonna like clear a lot of this impression that gives. I know what you're talking about. It really is like give this impression. I think if we just stick with solid colors, I think it's going to be way better than this. I understand
Yeah.
like it looks good, but if we compare to all the AI generated websites and all the uh I mean all of the responses from AI regarding this kind of creation, I think it does makes it a huge difference.
Yeah. I think that it's not just the colors, it's also as you move down, big images, big, beautiful images, as we've put on several of the other sites. Those images just make such a huge difference. Um, it
Yeah.
makes it look like night and day. Like this one almost, it looks good. It almost looks a little bit AI generated, not as much as the athletic performance one. That one looks more AI generated than this one. But if you compare this to Space Ventures Institute and the one that we just saw, and what's been being worked on for uh, for Mood Changer, for example, the new one. Yeah, this again, there's what's missing here is the images, the big images, and it still kind of has that AI generated look. Go to Mood Changer, um, and and click on athletes.
And
Now,
this one's very good.
Yeah.
yeah, and I look at that. It just looks amazing. It looks so modern. And it's because of the images is one of the main features of why it looks so amazing. And so we want to have all of our websites looking like this. Um, you know, and yeah, so I think we just kind of continue with Bootcamp University, take another cut at it. Uh, API, take another cut at it. Um, and Yeah, I don't know which was the other one. Oh, FloLabs uh,
International.
International. Yeah, that one. FloLabs.international.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think we can actually go back to the ones that we didn't work on for a while. So while these get looked over by people, maybe new members give feedback on them, since the websites are also shared, if I'm not mistaken, during the whole process, onboarding process or something.
yeah. And I saw you
So
made those images were a little lighter. All of these images, look really amazing. I love that image right there. Um, yeah, did such a great job on this. Scroll up just a little bit. Um, yeah, I like this image. It's kind of hard to see it kind of what it is. I mean, it looks great, but I don't know. Every one of these looks good. You know, scroll up to the other one above it. Yeah, those four. I think before when I was looking at that, it looked kind of dark on my computer. It looks brighter now, and I can kind of tell what the images are. Um, so yeah, that's a huge improvement. Yeah, scroll up. Yeah, this robot right here, I think we could maybe find something a little bit better. It looks more kind of cartoonish a little bit, but maybe it's okay. I mean, I was just looking at all the images and this one kind of um
popped up.
Yeah, yeah, and I like this right here. Yeah. Yeah, and do you want to look at Space Ventures Institute? 'Cause that's another one that, yeah.
Still
Now we
needs
have,
updates, some updates on this, I think.
yeah, and
What I was thinking was on the responsiveness, but yeah, adding pictures and videos on the background is kind of a thing we need to do based on what we've been talking so far.
yeah, is that a real image right there, or is that AI generated?
I am not sure. Actually,
Bernard, do you know?
I mean, Rebecca was the one who put these, if I'm not mistaken, so it's more likely that she would know.
Okay, and scroll down. What's the other one underneath
Right
that?
there, yeah.
So what, Bernard?
That should be a real image right there.
It is. And is that a real image right there, that last one?
Yeah, this like eclipse one, yeah.
It is? That one?
Oh, this Earth one, I have no idea.
Is that one was on the top before?
Yeah,
So I've never seen Earth with that blue rim around it.
yeah,
So I don't want to use any like AI generated images for this. There's and NASA and all of these images are open source, and so we have so much beautiful real content that we can get. If you go back up to the top, um, yeah, I think that image there, I think is so much better than than that other one that we had, Artemis 2. That's a
yeah,
real shot. Earth, what's it called? Earth set? It's like sunset, but Earth set, right? Or set from moon. Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Yeah, all of these websites, such a huge improvement, and it really portrays what we're trying to build.
What other websites was I talking about?
Do you want
I
to
mean,
also, CAIPO is the other one that we haven't maybe seen
yeah,
the new version. Yeah,
I'm not sure if she actually added anything since even this one stays here.
okay.
I think this is the same as the previous one, or just that part is not touched.
Okay, so we need a little bit more work on this, but yeah, it looks really good. Also, we need to keep tweaking this.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
If you want to wait like a few seconds, I can open what I kind of made with Hephaestus so far. Only the homepage is done, I think at least.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah, and also if we could maybe see the kind of the logos and stuff, the designs where we're at with that. Let's see if anybody here wants to, download and
Okay. So this is how the page opens. Some fun facts, did you knows, in a kind of way that will make it seem like it's following the storyline. I added like 5 of them after a bit of research. I'm not sure if this image is a bit too much because like the taller images kind of just make you scroll down without showing you much of it. But homepage is mostly the storytelling page right now, so it's also there. I'll just put the it basically.
Okay, looks great. Yeah, I've got a couple optional images for those ones that kind of from Limnos and stuff. And the big rock, I want to replace that with a real picture of Mount Athos. It's amazing with the sun setting in front of the mountain. Actually, it's a phenomenon. It looks like it's setting in front of Mount Athos, but obviously it's setting behind it.
Okay.
But okay, looks great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So awesome. And I think it's in general, one of the things that we've seen kind of a change in the way we're designing and just upgrading our designs. And I think part of that is learning how to use the tools better. Claude design is one of them, but also really looking at we want to design sites using AI that don't look like we're using AI. And so how we're designing and but we also had some insights from one of our designers about the prompts that were used to make it look with big images and so yeah, I think that's really kind of one of the areas, not just in kind of design, but also what we're working on now in general on all the teams, really the master classes. We want to improve, as Spencer spoke about earlier, we'll improve our master classes and content that's in those master classes because we've seen the positive changes in the productivity and and output of our team members really has been a lot improved recently. And one of the reasons is because I think the focus on getting those master classes that can help because using these tools is essential to having better output and so we're in all the teams as we spoke about last week. We want to get everybody's input as far as improving these master classes because it's really the key to helping everybody become better mastering your work that you're doing and having better outputs. So yeah, so this is just an example, I think, of what we've seen right now as far as what we're doing in the design and the difference in design, but we're also doing or we're focused on doing that in development and in every other area in the organization. So yeah, we've made so much progress. I think in the last 3 months, we've made more project progress than we've made in the last 2 years. And um, everyone's done really an amazing job. Great job, everybody. Uh, Especially the team leads who are leading the teams and organizing all that. Thank you all so much. Okay, Spencer, back to you.
Okay. Well, that is it. We're on to organization. So then, is anyone currently struggling from an organizational standpoint? Maybe not being able to get contact with your team leads or something like that? No? Okay. John, you want
Spencer,
to say something?
yeah, we do have also the space team.
Okay.
Pranad's here, and he wants to give an update on what's going on in the space team, which is really we've made some real progress there and some exciting stuff going on, and we want to move forward on some of the initiatives here and engage all of our tech team here in that process.
Yeah, sure. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Thanks, John. Yeah. So with the space team right now, I guess you guys saw like the Space Venture Institute website. That's one of the things we are working on. I'm gonna make this also pretty quick as well because I know it's been quite some time. Um, but yeah, with the Space Venture Institute website, as you see, like being part of the space team, we put our hands in almost like pretty much in some sort of like thing on almost everything, kind of. Like within the website, you have access to be able to like work with, like collaborate with like the robotics team or like with the humanoid team, the RoboCollective.AI. Um, two new ideas that we do have that is in development is like this online space summit. It's like a space conference. I think we've mentioned it a few times in the past. But we're really trying to get that up and running. Except it's gonna be like so like how we have like regular like space conferences or just any kind of like work conferences that we know. Where different companies come, give their pitch, or you just go see what other companies are doing currently. In that kind of light, we are thinking of doing something similar in a virtual standpoint. So in that case, not just like people who are looking forward for um like job opportunities, but even companies or even small time companies, because there's a lot of space companies and like research and satellite companies, or even like defense companies out there, like very small time businesses that are trying to make their way up by getting these big contracts, making themselves known. So giving them a platform like the Space Summit to showcase what they have, and then also using that as a platform for anyone who's also looking for like job opportunities to go see what these companies are doing and researching. Another one is a space travel agency. So kind of similar to how like right now we can do like I mean if you pay a good chunk of money, you can go in like low Earth orbit or like just on like the cusp of like the Earth's atmosphere, like with the Blue Origin rocket. We saw like many celebrities do it in the past. So think about doing something similar where we're like that page of like travel agency where like you can select like what kind of um if you want to visit like space for a little bit, like what kind of travel you want to do. Because there's Blue Origin, there's this new one called I think John it was called Balloon, the balloon one. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like this like balloon transport that goes up into space as well with the company that we've been talking to, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so think of it, it's like the space travel agency is kind of like the Google flights for like space travel is what we're trying to become, in a way. So that's another thing in development. And I guess another main thing is we are trying to push forward like within the FloBrain, we have like the Space Buddy. And within the Space Buddy, the idea that we have right now is kind of making it like an app also. where it is kind of like the one of the most popular like free apps that are out there right now is like the Space View app. I think I showcased this like a while back, but basically like it's an AR like you have your phone camera on the app, you point it like wherever you are in the room, and then an AR overlay shows currently what constellation or what like satellite orbit, what planet, what star is like right now, like in that direction that you're pointing your phone at, which is pretty cool. But one key point is that not any of these like current space view apps or like apps where you can like see what you're looking at in the sky has like an AI integrated part into it, and that's what we're trying to step into. So let me just share my slides here. It's gonna be I'm gonna try to go through this pretty quickly, but I think this will give you guys like a much like better idea overall what this like space view app idea is. Okay, can I present? Alrighty. Okay, here we go. All right, so right now today, like astronomy apps have like become very good at identifying objects in the sky, right? We have companies like the Night Sky, Sky Guide, Sky Safari, um, Space View, like I said, Stellarium. They have different like AR experiences that can tell you like what you're looking at, but they all have like obviously a common limitation, which is that they are just a primary database and visualization tools. So they show information, but they truly also like they don't really engage users in a personalized, intelligent way. So at FloLabs, what we're trying to do is just transform astronomy into like a lookup experience that many people have into like this like exploration experience. Um, so more into that is like next. Okay, yeah. The existing apps, what interesting is that the underlying technology that's being used is pretty much like there, like it's already like solved. Every modern smartphone has different sensors, right? Like it's accelerometer, a GPS, a camera, a magnetometer, and there was something else. Gyroscopes, like within the phone to help you orient, like what's the orientation is and what you're looking at. And basically, like these existing apps have combined all these features and basically are able to make like what like celestial objects are being visible. So the challenge is not like identifying objects. It's making the experience sound intelligent and meaningful, right? Which is where like I guess another cool thing is that why it's somewhat doable and why like we really want to push forward for this is that the astronomy like data sources are like pretty open sources like the repository about like what the constellation is, like what at what like coordinates like these stars, these constellations, these galaxies are. Like they're very open repository that we also have to like dig. I'm doing a little more research on that, like how to really like accumulate all of these like into like one big catalog of information. So like resources from like NASA, like JPL, Horizons, Rubin Observatory, like they all have access to like billions of stars and planets and galaxies and their calculations. So instead of having us like recreate some like infrastructure that like helps us identify like what planet or like what they're looking at, we can already like leverage like existing data sets that exist and find a way to incorporate it into like this app idea and focus on like our resources of that different user experience that we want to provide. Right.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the beauty of it is that it's all open source. NASA and
mhm.
all of these images are all open source, and the community wants companies and organizations to use that data. So in most situations, you're not going to be able to have data,
Okay.
access data like that. That's just, it's going to be closed source.
Okay.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so like currently, yeah, so like just currently like when you look at like the market gap, it's not like, like um oh, we're just going to create another app. The thing is there's currently no dominant AI native astronomy platform that provides like conversational guidance. The best way to look at it, instead of having like I guess like similar to how I've seen like this image that you see over here is like the Space View app, which many of my friends that I know, like within my major and myself, use. Uh, right now this is pretty cool. As you can see, it's just like a dark background, but it shows like, oh, this is the constellation of Scorpius. But like this AR overlay that you see, like right now, if like just in a hypothetical case, like if the Scorpius like constellation is right now like above my head, but obviously it's daytime right now, I can't see it. But if I point my phone and I just put it up, it'll show an overlay of like, oh, this is what the constellation is going to look right now. Like this is the constellation you're seeing right now. And it shows like this image that you see over here, which is pretty cool with the app. But the thing is like that's all it does. It's like a fixed data set point where it's just okay, this is Scorpius, gives a little description, and that's all you get. What we're trying to add is that little AI component where it's like, oh, like this is the Scorpius constellation. It was discovered by so and so astronomer in like whatever year, and it's like, and it says like, yeah, this is the largest constellation located in the southern hemisphere near the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and then you can also like it'd be like you can zoom in on be able to like interact with it. So be able to zoom in on one of the stars within a constellation, and then the AI like component really goes more in detail about it and ask you questions like, oh, would you like to learn like know more about this star, or would you like to exit out or something like that. So it's more like a companion rather than just like a learning experience rather than just a uh like just an app that's just there to just tell you stuff. So what was I? Yeah. So like with Space Buddy, yeah, it's another like good example I have is like just imagine pointing your phone like at Jupiter, and instead of like receiving a label that says like uh oh, this is Jupiter, like the largest gas planet um in our solar system, but instead it begins a conversation where like the Space Buddy explains you what you're seeing, why this is important, how it relates to like previous discoveries like ever explored, and like what you may want to observe next. Like, would you like to go into the moons that Jupiter has, or like how Jupiter avoids asteroids hitting Earth, though it's so far away, like stuff like that. So it doesn't make it like, I think the word I'm looking for is that these space apps have like a passive observation, but as a user, and what we're trying to make it into like an active exploration for people to be able to interact with. Um, I believe this is pretty much there. Yeah, competitive edge. I want to wrap this up. Just let me just wrap this up real quick. Yeah, so basically the recommendation that we basically have is like very simple. It's like we already have data sets and stuff like the open source that we were saying that we just need to like accumulate. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. But in the meantime, like being able to start to focus on like the AI powered astronomy comparison. Um, sorry, astronomy companion. So be able to like validate like user engagement, be able to create something like that where we have like this future AI driven discovery tool. So the long-term vision is just to create like a very intelligent space exploration companion that people can use that'll be a part of FloBrain. So one that helps like people like not just see the universe, but like understand what it is. So it's not just like any regular astronomy app. It's actually like an entry point for like very complex scientific knowledge that's very like conversational and very personalized. And of course, like because it's going to be like an AI companion one, it'd be very, very accessible. And I think, yeah.
Great, thank you, Pranad. And yeah, one of the things that I as we look at this data and we see what's accessible out there, and Pranad, I think, right, if you could do a deep dive into every open source data set out there, because there's so many. Helen
Yeah.
Rubinstein, all the observatories that are out there. I was looking at something that have all the satellites in space. You can actually see where the satellites are at the specific time, and you can zoom in on them, and you can see what's going around, what those satellites are going around. Every satellite that's in space right now, you can zoom in on it, and you can see exactly where it's at. But I was kind of thinking about like space and as we start to get this data set and look at TARL and Space Ventures Institute, and how we could use that, and some of the things that I've been thinking about for a while now, but kind of a moonshot to try to, and I asked ChatGPT, so I'll just kind of read it. How can we use AI with a model to all open source space images from NASA, ESA, European Space Agency, and all others mapping the universe to try and understand if their light rays and other forms of outputs may be similar to a brain and neurons sending messages, and figure out if the universe is sending out messages and communicating within it and outside of it. So I've always kind of wondered, because like the brain, and if you look at a brain and you look at the universe and your neurons, you have, you're sending messages between neurons, and the light, when you're getting light outside from the sun, it hits you in 8 minutes. And when you're looking out in the stars, those are millions of light years away, right? So you're looking at history. When you're looking out in the stars, you're looking at something that happened millions of years ago. Apparently, it's still hard to get your head around, at least it is for me, but how does it look like, that? And so I kind of thought, we all wonder, what's the meaning of life, and what are we doing here, and why am I me, and, what is this all about, et cetera, and what's out there, what the heck's out there, right? And, but yeah, different forms of communication. There's SETI, they're looking at, using kind of learning about how animals communicate, and are there any parallels with the messages that we're getting, the magnetic waves and other types of messages we're getting from outer space. SETI's out there listening for, what are they called? Signatures. So anyway, my reply here from ChatGPT, John, this is a strong research moonshot idea, but we need to separate poetry from testable science. I'll frame it as a serious AI research program, data sets, models, hypothesis, validation, and what would count as evidence versus pattern illusion. John, yes, this is a legitimate AI research direction if we frame it as a testable scientific search, not as the universe is definitely conscious. The right version is build a multimodal AI system that studies cosmic structure, light curves, spectra, radio signals, X-ray, gamma ray events, gravitational patterns, and cosmic web topology to test whether the universe contains communication-like information flows beyond known astrophysics. My opinion, this is exactly the kind of ambitious project TARL FloLabs should explore, but it must be designed with ruthless scientific discipline so it does not become pattern-seeking mythology. The core idea, think of the universe as a massive network. Brain analogy, neurons, universe equivalent, galaxy, stars, quasars, black holes, clusters. Brain analogy, axons, dendrites, cosmic universe equivalent, cosmic filaments, gravitational structures, plasma jets, magnetic fields. Brain analogy, neural spikes, universe equivalent, light curves, bursts, flares, pulses, radio emissions, gamma ray bursts. Brain analogy, brain regions, universe equivalent, galaxy clusters, superclusters, void boundaries. Brain analogy, neural communication, universe equivalent, repeating directional information, rich astrophysical signals. Brain analogy, connectome, universe, cosmic web graph. There is already peer-reviewed work comparing the cosmic web and neuronal networks quantitatively. Vaza and Felitti compared structural, morphological, network, and memory capacity properties of the human brain and cosmic web, while also noting that their neural model used proximity approximations rather than true biological connectivity. That means the similarity is real enough to study mathematically, but not enough to claim consciousness. and there's a link to some research. Do not use only images. The most important correction, space images alone are not enough. Pre-NASA ESA images are usually processed visual representations. For serious AI, we need the raw or calibrated scientific data. Images, FITS, fits files from telescopes, spectra, chemical light fingerprints, light curves, brightness over time, radio data, narrow band, broadband, pulsar-like signals, X-ray, gamma ray data, energetic events, redshifts, distance catalogs, 3D cosmic mapping, polarization, directionality of electromagnetic waves, gravitational wave data, space-time events, CMB maps, early universe signal backgrounds. NASA's Master Archive hosts optical, ultraviolet, and near-infrared datasets from missions including Webb, Hubble, TESS, and Kepler. HESARC covers extreme ultraviolet, X-ray, gamma ray, and CBM-related datasets, and NASA's Exoplanet Archives includes large-scale public light curve data, including more than 130 million test light curves. EPA also has major open science resources. Gaia DR3 data is available through the Gaia archive. ESSky lets users explore multi-wavelength sky data across ESA astronomy missions, and Euclid is designed to map large-scale cosmic structures across space and time. 3, what AI model should be built? I would build a cosmic foundation model. Call it CosmoBrain or Universal Signal Model. It should not be one model. It should be a mixture of models. Model type, vision transformer, what it studies, galaxies, images, nebulae, cosmic filament telescopes, maps. Spectra transformer, what it studies, spectra redshifts, element signals, unusual. Anyway, I'll kind of let's go through that. There's a bunch of other SETI technosignatures, artificial looking radio light patterns. There's a bunch of other ones. This becomes a system that asks, is the universe only structured by gravity and known physics, or are there communication-like patterns hidden in the structure and emissions? This is the right scientific question. 4, the research pipeline. Phase 1, build the cosmic data lake. Pull public data from NASA, MAST, Hubble, and it gives me a whole list. Create a huge graph where nodes equal galaxy, stars, quasars, pulsars, black holes, supernova, edges equal proximity, filaments, etc., and calculate degree distribution clusters. This is where the brain analogy becomes testable. Phase 3, train AI to learn normal universe behavior. Before searching for messages, the model must learn normal astrophysics. Anyway, I'll skip that. Phase 4, search for anomalies. 5, the universe as brain. Hypothesis needs 3 levels. Anyway, it was very interesting. There's still a bunch here. Not to bore you with the details, but yeah, something to look at for Tarl. And any thoughts on that, Pranad or anyone?
I think you explained it all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Was that too heavy? Too far out there?
Maybe a little bit, but no, it's a good idea to like be able to talk about like what the whole like broad idea is, like right now. So it was good.
I wouldn't call it too much. I'd just call it detailed.
Yeah, that's the way to put it.
Uh, yeah, well, yeah, seeing what patterns there are out there if the universe is communicating. Yeah, sounds like a kind of a way out there idea, but yeah, I think it's something to start thinking about, and I think that would be a very interesting project um, to work on. And with Tarl and launching Tarl, I think there are people that are studying that stuff out there, astrophysicists, and I would certainly love to know, like, what the heck is out there before I kick the bucket. Maybe we'll be communicating with an extraterrestrial. Maybe saying, Pranad, we found some. extra advanced life. Okay, Spencer, we've gone over our time here. If you want to
Yeah,
wrap things
I
up.
was like, we're 2 hours now. I already said about organization. Obviously, no one has any problems. I was gonna cover the kind of my opinion about the Dean Mom meeting, but honestly, I'd rather save it for Wednesday because I have something I want to kind of put together, so then I can show you what I'm thinking. Um, and then Antoine, I might reach out to you because I want to figure out that remote access thing. See if we could do it maybe either today or Monday morning. Do it then. But besides that, we've covered everything, and I'm probably sure everybody wants to get off and either get moving or get doing some other work. So thank you everybody for coming, but we are done for today.
All right, great. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks.
See you
Thank you.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.